there was a court order. It was actually not a court order. It was an advice to the president to dissolve parliament. And it says, once you get that advice, you shall proceed to dissolve parliament. But then in the intervening period, a court case is filed, and that court case gives us what we call a conservatory order. So there is an order barring the president to dissolve parliament pending hearing of a case. And that court order came in 2020, September 21st, and it was about 2 years to the election. And the motions in court, you understand, there was back and forth, and Maraga gave that order just before he left office. I think it was in September, and in a month or two, he was not there. So when the case was filed in court, there was an acting Chief Justice, that is Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, and there are lawyers who argued that he had no power to empanel a bench of 5 judges, and that was the challenge that was there in court. Currently, and of course, that order, that empaneling of the bench was a challenge. Even some judges retired, like Justice, the name I forget, but even the presiding judge went to the Court of Appeal. So currently there is nothing going on with regards to that case in the High Court. In the appeal, the case is not yet done, but in the appeal there was a stay of proceedings. So basically that order was defeated by what we call a fraction of time. Now, the current parliament, still unconstitutional, but operating. In my opinion, if somebody moved the Chief Justice again, the hands of the Chief Justice would be tied. So it's a challenge to the, what we call the omotatas, the public interest litigators. If you think you can approach the Chief Justice to make a civil order for the current parliament, that's fine. But for the sake of our work as the multi-sectoral working group, we are already proposing that the current parliament be put into order by nominating enough women to meet the 2/3. Otherwise, in my opinion, currently, if somebody approached the parliament, then parliament would still be declared unconstitutional. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sylvester. I wanted to bring that out so that you appreciate the various forums, the various institutions that we have to walk into so that we just make it right. Honorable Esther Passaris, you currently are a legislator in our 13th Parliament. Today is International Women's Day, and we are glad that we are having also this conversation today, appreciating the theme that the United Nations gave us for this year International Women's Day. Invest in women, accelerate progress. Are we having goodwill from your end this time now? Are we going to invest in women? Are we getting it right?
Wow. First of all, happy International Women's Day. And I'm glad I got here before Daisy started speaking, because she nails it. She's been walking this journey forever, and I really pray that it gets over within her lifetime, because she's really walked this journey for years. Even before I became a legislator, Daisy Abdani was there fighting and championing women's cause. Now, invest in women. I think our president has said that, at the G7 when he spoke, he's got an advisor for gender issues in his office. he has said that it's one thing that he wants to make sure it's done. So the women governors came together and they also said that all those governors who served 2 terms, can they nominate a woman? Easier said than done. Because when you look at all of them, they don't have a woman as a deputy. So if we started off at that platform where they had deputies as women, from the women gender, then we would say at least we have 4. So it's a tall order, it's a good prayer. The fact that we are unconstitutional is a challenge in itself. Everything that we've done in terms of legislation, I mean, it's really bad. So I think we should try and push the president, if he has the absolute goodwill, to right now figure out how can he make us constitutionally okay. Get all the political parties together, nominate the required women, and let's just get that right. So that whatever we're doing, we're constitutionally put together right. Because it is a worry. Because we're passing legislation on a daily basis, we're making approvals. Can you imagine if everything is negated with just one court order? Because we had no mandate, right, to actually pass those laws, to actually approve those budgets. So we're sitting in a really bad place. So I think the goodwill that the president can show when he says that in his tenure, he's going to make sure, and his tenure, we don't want it to be his tenure, assuming he's going to get 2 terms. We want it to be done within this term. So why not sit, because we're sitting with my party leader Raila Odinga on a number of issues, why not sit and agree, let us all nominate women. The idea, you know, the idea of progressing a nation because you invest in women. I'm so sick and tired of women being looked at as an expenditure that should not happen, and an expense that the government should not bear. And when we look at this country, I mean, we've never had a woman president, all right? If we say that a lot has gone wrong, then we know the gender that has taken us there. It is not the women, all right? When we look at the county governments right now, the way they're performing, and look at the attacks that some of them go through, it's like that space is one where if you excel, you're going to be brought down. And you're going to be brought down not because you're doing something wrong, because you're a woman and we can't have you excel. You know, just yesterday I saw on our walls in Parliament that the parliamentarians, the ones who have CDF, majority of them being men, out of the 290 constituencies, only less than 10% are women. So 90% of those men have gone and given themselves 30 million shillings in the budget for their constituency development fund. Did they raise anything for the county women representatives? Absolutely not. Why? Because they feel that an empowered woman, right, is going to come back and take their job tomorrow. So they need to cripple you. So men don't have a fair race. When they want to race with a woman, they will cripple her so that she cannot make the finish line. So that's what we're up against. So does that mean that we have no recourse? We do. 50% or more of the voters are women. Why are we not able to reach those women voters and say, vote a woman, irrespective of party, irrespective of religion, irrespective of tribe, just vote for a woman. We have to try and make sure that the women stand out. But you know, I've also seen the expectation for women to deliver is so high, all right? They're not judged on the same pedestal as men. I don't know whether it stems from us being mothers, so the expectation is that we will nurture, we will solve all their problems. They've been raised by mothers, we're a woman, we're a leader, we should solve all the problems that they have. So the expectation from a woman is so high. And then the disrespect. I recently came to the realization that when you're a man and you age, you're called Mzee. And Mzee means a man of respect, a man of dignity, a man who is worthy of, you know, that title. But when you're a woman, you're called Shosho, and it's almost like you've done your time, you're no longer productive, disappear, you know. So it starts from us not respecting the woman, and that patriarchal role is still very, very strong on women. So if we want women to stand, You know, I have heard women who call out other women for unjustified reasons. And the whole idea is it's so easy to pull her down, and it's never an attempt to pull him down. So for me, if this country's done a lot of things wrong, we've never had a woman at the helm. Let's start there. When it comes to governors, we only have 7. Thank God we've made it beyond 10%. Will we have more women governors in the next session, in the 14th Parliament? Will we have more counties elect governors that are women? It depends on us as women. So how many of us are willing to vote for a woman, irrespective of whether she's in your political party, because parties make a big determinant, whether she's from your tribe, whether she's from your religion, right? How many of you are willing to do that? As long as you don't have a definite yes for that answer, we're not going to win the war, because the war on gender parity belongs and starts and ends with us as women. We have got to support each other, because the men laugh when they see us fighting amongst each other, and we do that so often, and it actually makes them say, oh, they're their own worst enemy. So let's stand together irrespective of what. Let's have our fights outside, somewhere where the men are not listening, all right? And then stay focused on the agenda. I mean, really, we have a lot of work to do, but I really think the first thing we need to ask the President, your Parliament, with all the laws you're passing, are unconstitutional. Somebody hire Tata on that one. Put us on the run so that we can get our gender parity in Parliament right now. There is no way Parliament should have more than 2/3 of one gender. So what are we doing? Let's start there. Let's say nominate, agree, nominate. Let's get Parliament constitutionally right. Once we get it right, we have to endorse all those bills again. We have to bring them all again so that all those bills are safeguarded, that we've passed. Because even if it's not going to happen today, it's going to happen in the future. We know that Kenyans love the judiciary. Really dig it. We like to go to court for everything. So I think, Daisy, if you're going to have an audience, I think that's what we need to ask for. Let's constitute. We need Denita back there, right? We need her there. We need so many women who are really amazing. Wanja's here. We need so many women that can come in and help us in that space. And the only way we're going to do it is to say, you know what? Put your money where your mouth is. If you really are saying you're going to support women, why not nominate the women and get Parliament to be constitutionally well constituted? Thank you.
Thank you so much. A better round of applause for Madam Honorable Esther Passaris. Thank you. You've acknowledged and affirmed that so far the women that have been given elective position are performing exemplary well, right? So why not? Why not? We have to get it right this time round. Before I move to the audience for a few questions that you may have to our panelists, we have engaged the 3 arms of the government in this discussion, and we have engaged them extensively. We have engaged the judiciary, we have engaged Parliament a number of times. But what in my mind lacked was the participation of the executive. But this time round, the President is the one that initiated this particular conversation by submitting into Parliament a memorandum, amongst them the realization, the actualization of the 2/3 gender principle. A round of applause for His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto. We appreciate from wherever he is the goodwill from the executive, and we believe this time round, Honorable Esther Passaris, Honorable Denita Gati, Madam Daisy Amutai, our international partner, Mr. Jan, our judiciary, our GEC, our commission, you better come back with a positive report. From my end, we need to hold Parliament and Senate accountable. And I've always given a formula, something called adopt an MP. That day we are going to Parliament to pass the 2/3 gender rule. All of you seated here, I want you to ensure you have adopted one MP. Okay? Are we together? Are you listening? So that on that day, on that day, you ensure your member of Parliament is in Parliament as early as 8 o'clock. He stays in Parliament on his seat all through the voting session, the debate session, hadi uone anaenda huko kuchukua to put in their signature on that bill. Ensure your member does not sneak to go and sit at the public gallery. Are we together? Ensure they adopt, you don't adopt two, just adopt one. The 290. Kila mtu adopt MP. Yeah? Ensure your member of Parliament asiende kwa ile room nyingine, akue tu hapo. Ukiona yuko, make a call. Okay? As the public, we also have the mandate to ensure that the members of Parliament are held accountable. If we have done our bit with public participation, we have thrown it your way to Parliament, we must ensure that this time round we are holding each other's hand and we are making it right for once and for all. So, Madam Esther Passaris, I am a voter in Langata Mgurueni Ward. I adopt you today.
I stand adopted.
Well, thank you so much. We'll be taking a few questions from the audience. Before that, okay. Honorable Esther Passaris have some engagement. She's requesting that maybe you can shoot a question towards her direction. She'll be leaving before we wind up. So there's a mic that will be going around, so we can take 5 questions before we come to the next round. Time is not on our side. Kindly be brief. Shoot the question straight.
Thank you so much. My name is Miriam Opondo. I represent persons with disabilities at the United Democratic Alliance UDA party. I want to thank the panelists for the awesome presentation. My attention is to Mheshimiwa Wakati as well. She was done a good job when she was representing persons with disabilities. I've had issues to do with advocacy, gender top-up, 2/3 gender rule. But my suggestions was this: let us look at it in a nice way. Even as we talk about 2/3 and gender rule, let us consider women with disabilities before our disabilities, because we have 47 counties, and you see, we talk about women, but we forget women with disabilities. So from the 47 counties, look at the representation of women with disabilities as well. It's not enough. And these gender top-up positions at the Senate usually have 10 positions allocated. As we consider the women, remember that we have women with disabilities who also need those positions. And the gender top-up plus the 2/3 gender rule, we as women with disabilities should also be there as well, because we are first women before our disabilities. So that is my suggestion, that the Senate slots, the gender top-up positions, even in the county assemblies, those slots can also have women with disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Vanchikobeka. I'm a young woman who's very active in politics. I ran for office in Kiambu County. My question was to Daisy. You have been this journey as Honorable Basaris has marked, and we've all seen that your great contribution towards women in Kenya. How do you feel about this time around, this attempt? Honestly, how do you feel about this? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My question is directed towards Daisy. Thank you. So I was part of the women who came to Kenya National Library to present the memo, and we are aware of that. I've not seen the final report, but I am optimistic that certain issues are captured. So my questions are two. This week the president has been so optimistic about women issues. I saw him at G7, really nice. How do we capture the spirit of the moment? Because some of these things will be short-lived, and maybe we might have other interesting political issues in the country that might take away the attention from the people that, for example, there are robust conversations about the communication problems, and that's where we need it. So how do we capture this optimism? Because it might be short-lived. The other issue is there are concerns that there is a national report that was presented to the houses, and according to what we, myself and the others are hearing, is that the aspect of gender was left to the multi-sectoral committee. Now, it is said that the national report was presented before the without the aspect of that. And now, you have the report that you have method. My question is, have you aligned the two that has been aligned with the multi-sectoral, with the NACO, and what are the risks around the two that report being presented as a standalone proposal vis-a-vis being part of the NACO report? But otherwise, we work with the multi-sectoral committee, but I am happy to speak about celebration now. We shall celebrate when we get to Paranakleki.
I am Chepwech to it, and thank you guys, especially Daisy, for all the work that you have done. And Salma, it is very timely that you say adopt an MP, because we know our honorable member for adopt a right, so it is in order. She will whip them into being adopted. So my question is to Honorable Gati and Basaris, because you people have come from political parties, and we know that the major issues begin from political parties. That is where the root of all evil is, if I may put it like that. Because it is very easy for us to say we are going to take a list to IBC that is compliant. But as we know, our political parties, they are also very cunning. So they will put women where they don't care whether they win or lose the seat. Because what IBC wants is a list that is fully compliant. So how do we hold the political parties accountable to ensure that they not only give the tickets to women where they are not strong, but give it to women also in their strongholds, so that we realize the number. Then the other thing is, where does the buck stop? Because when the list goes to IBC and it's not that compliant, they say, what can we do? You understand? So should we bring ORPP into this conversation to say, you should whip these political parties? If they don't comply, then don't give the political parties money. It is that simple. Because if political parties know they are going to lose money, they will get in line.
Thank you very much. We have two more. I can give any question directed to Honorable Basaris. Basaris?
Okay, thank you very much. Governor Speaker, the Chief Whip. Okay, thank you very much. I'm Governor Sirikal, the Chief Whip, Youth Nairobi, Youth Parliament. Okay, I maybe have a little bit of a solution to the question. Okay, what I mean is this. Why can't we reduce the number of counties into regions? Because the counties that we have right now, they are not solving what we call the tribalistic thing.
because if you can reduce them to the what we call the provinces, so those provinces can become counties, then the revenue that we use to pay those MPs, those governors, those women reps, we can use them to nominate or create position for women in parliament or in any other organization. Then another thing, the MPs, maybe to offer a solution to that, maybe the parliament, the political parties like the ODM or any other political party like UDA or another, we can identify some of the regions or some of the constituencies where we have women who are strong in those areas, then we give them direct ticket to them. Give them direct ticket, because there are some regions that once you get a ticket for ODM, you will automatically win. If you get a ticket for UDA, you will automatically win. So why can't we encourage these political parties to adopt that kind of thing? They should not favor men. And again, to advise to the women, let us love each other. We are the people that we don't vote in our women candidates. We don't love ourselves. So can we just generate the love for ourselves? Then to the political parties. In Kenya, we have several political parties, almost 98 political parties, and around 48 waiting to be registered. So these political parties, how many are women frontiered political parties? Can we give them some opportunity, or maybe merge some political parties under one woman leader and ensure that things run well? Or maybe let us have also the MPs, they have their deputies as women with the same power. If we cannot achieve the two-thirds gender rule, let us have MP, all the 290 constituencies, they have their assistants as women, automatic. So thank you very much.
Thank you, we had a hand raised up from our students there. Kindly, we must also nurture the attitude of, just stand up please. These are the leaders of today, not our future leaders. So we must give them this space, we must give them this opportunity, and we must encourage to do what they want to do. Yes, your name please, which school, and your question.
My name is Kiprotich Kimaron, Alliance High School, and my question of course goes to my county women representative, Madam Esther Passaris. Now, we've spoken a great deal about women in the political space, and a lot of people were emphatic about how women are going to be nominated into parliament. But my concern was that, is it the number of women who are represented in parliament that is the issue, or it's the whole narrative around women in the political space? Because unfortunately in the most recent election, Kenyans failed to see the merit that was there in women contestants and chose to go with male candidates, people who are assumed to be, or at least dictated by our African principles and cultures, who are assumed to be leaders in the society. Now my question was, since you stated that women hold a very strong majority in terms of voters, is the motive force behind this bill political or good? Is it goodwill or political will? What is to say maybe those who are at the forefront of this bill are not doing so in order to secure women as a political bloc, in order to use them for the same reasons that they did a long time ago? And my other question was, if that is the case, how do you beat a system that is against you, where we have a parliament headed by men, an executive headed by a man who is deputized by a man, and yet you want to create a revolution where women are equitably represented? So therefore, how can we secure goodwill in this push, and how can we make sure that we don't bypass gender as a qualification, where being a man is a qualification in itself? That was my question. Thank you so much for your time.
A better round of applause. You know why is in alliance. Being in alliance is just not in alliance. You must be adopted by Honorable Esther Passaris. Leo lunch juu yake. Sit here next to her. That's it. Honorable Pasaris, kindly respond to the question that the young gentleman has raised.
Well, thank you. I can see you're very enlightened. What I can say is, you know, we come from a patriarchal society where women were only seen as bring forth the next generation, cook and clean home, right? We're still doing that, but we're doing something more. We feel that we can stand up to be counted. A lot of women become widows. A lot of women end up with marriages that don't work, and women need to feel independent. And this is, you know, it started in the first International Women's Day kind of celebration started in 1909. We've still got a long way to go. The budget needed for gender parity is over 350 billion deficit. So we're actually talking about a male-dominated world that doesn't prioritize women in leadership. So what we have to do is celebrate the gains. The fact that we have 47 women that come into Parliament elected through the constitution provision for women's seats, special women's seats, that in itself was a win. All right. The fact that we have a Chief Justice who's a woman, that's a win. The fact that we had a woman, Charity Gill, run for president, that's a win. We had Martha Karua run for president, that's a win. You know, we've broken it. So it starts as a young on women. The fact that we have you who is enlightened to see, hey, there is a problem here. Is it the men who are going to protect us? You know what? The men, we need their assistance. We need he for she's. And you are now appointed as a he for she. You are going to be championing everything to do with women and women's rights. All right? And you know, you will find that there's certain things that are happening that you never saw that you had a role to play. You know, I've seen children who come from families where the husband or the father is bettering the wife, and they don't do anything, and then when they go into their own households, they do that. So you can be a voice for women, and we need a lot of you. You can even start a club in Alliance, he for she, all right? Because we need you to start this young, all right? One day you might be in that political space, Daisy might still be fighting for our rights, and you will be the one to give it to us. But we really, with the electorate, the 50% women, that is the first battle we have to win, where a woman sees a woman as a potentially good leader. All right, now, we don't want to be given the position just because we're women. We want to be given the position because we are capable, right? But right now we're marginalized. Imagine a woman in Nairobi, my county, Nairobi. If we didn't have the woman representative seat, which put me forward, we only had Beatrice Alachi as the MP for Dagoretti North who came in. In the last parliament, we had Mercy of Kasarani. One woman out of 17. In the Nairobi County, 85 seats, we only had 5 women in the last county. In this county, we dropped to 3 women elected. So majority are nominated. Now when they are nominated, our politics is such that people want to see what have you done for me lately, which needs a budget. Most of the men who sit in these counties or in the parliament do not want the nominated women to be given any money for any project. We as women reps accidentally came across a fund, right, which was meant for a rerun, which was not used, and we struggled to get it from 2 billion to 3. So all I want to say, it's a tough journey, but when we have young brains like you standing up and articulating what seems to be an unfair practice against women, we're not saying that, what we're saying is treat us as equal partners, because we are equal partners. All right? The Bible says about a woman being a helper. I wish that men would understand that to get their lives right, we have a lot of men with challenges right now, right? It's because of the male figure absconding his duties of parenting. So they've left it completely to the woman. So I feel when we come together, both genders, and appreciate each other and work together, there was Eve and Adam. Why? They have to work together to achieve something. And what we can achieve for our families, for our communities, for our countries, we have to do it together. But we can't do it together when you're telling the woman, sit, stand, speak when you're spoken to. All right? go cook, go make babies, you have no role to play. All right? So we need to be able to be seen as equal partners. Respect me, I respect you, it's mutual, right? Listen to me, I listen to you, it's mutual, all right? Let's plan together, let's achieve together, let's agree to have differences, but ultimately we work for the good of society. And the good of society requires that men and women come together for the good of the nation. And you're my chief. Welcome into the club.
Thank you very much, Honorable Esther Passaris. I believe your question have been answered to the standard of your satisfaction. When you leave, don't let her go. Walk out with her, because that is the order of this honorable house. Miss Daisy Amdan. A round of applause as she walks out. Yes, we must ensure that the passion that these young people have been actualized. By the action of just that young man walking out with that honorable member, you just don't know the impact and what it will create for the future. So thank you so much for that, young gentleman. Miss Daisy, a million plus questions you win. Welcome.
Mama ni wa chama. Mama amekaa kwa kiti ya party leader.
Chama yetu.
Mama ni mmoja tu.
Mama habadilishwi.
Mama ni mmoja tu. Watu hujaribu kubadilisha, mama anakuanga tu kitu moja tu.
Okay, we remain the #1 party in Africa. Thank you. Right?
Thank you.
Could have taken a photo with that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I need a Sasa wacha niende. Madam, hiyo ndio wanagapi.
No, you can't.
Not you.
Yes.
But you.
No. We won't. We'll give you a lot of trouble.
From here. See, I'm going to take it haya, nawapatia maombi ya Mungu.
Asante sana. Thank you so much. Wacha wale kwa sawa.
Demokrati yangu. Where is the photo from there? Toa hizi.
Ngoja, ili DP
ile ya Kibaki.
Woi.
Ile ya
Kenya
Kibaki.
Constitution, instrument of change. 10 years old. Sawa.
And thank you for doing that. From here, I know she's going for a meeting. Staki kumpiga. From here, let's go for, she's rushing somewhere. And thank you for coming. We appreciate you. These are the leaders we need in Nairobi and Elsa. When you call them, they come.
So you're the party leader for DP? The Democratic Party?
I'm not a small person.
Where?
DP taa na tuko na mama taa hapa ndani.
Na tuko na mama taa.
DP taa na tuko na mama taa. Na tuko wengi rais.
Well done, my darling.
Thank you. Abdi? No, let's go Abdi.
Okay, now we go to Uda ruling party.
What? We are all Kenyans.
Yes.
And we should not fight for small things.
Very true.
Yes.
Chama chetu.
Kabisa. Kazi ni kazi.
Kazi ni kazi. Kwa gari direct.
Wish you well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's so lovely that they are all together in one space, all of them doing their own thing. Politics is not enmity. We all want the best for Kenya. Yeah.
She's rushing to take care of our 2,000. And we need her there.
Thank you so much.
You finish with Commonwealth Party.
I was a member of KANU. Yes.
Where is our
and my mother?
I think I need you.
My
here.
mother is still a member.
I need you here. Let him stand there.
So
Our adopted man.
I'm going to tell George Wanaina, is he still your secretary general? I'm going to tell George that I was at your stand. I'm actually
This is Joshua.
Huh?
Joshua.
Shine bright.
Thank you.
We love you.
I love you too. Thank you. And I have to look and say, who am I?
You have already adopted.
I swear.
We were with you since the days of Embakasi.
Yeah. Wacha Mungu atende yake.
Give them to.
Oh, thank you. Sasa hawa ndio wamenipatia kitu.
Yay!
Wacha kofia yangu.
Yay!
There's a request from the wife of Patrick. They are just next door.
Ay, okay. So,
Live.
This is politics for you.
alright, chukua hiyo. Leo ni
And you said you are always with mama. Huh? You are adopted man.
Kofia. Masi.
Hata kofia.
Ini wiper.
Wiper.
Wiper. Ndio naona.
Haya, tusiharibu nywele.
Sawa sawa.
Sawa sawa.
Wiper.
Wiper. Haya, sawa sawa.
Thank you.
Unajua tuko Azimio pamoja.
Kabisa.
Against all odds.
Yes.